Hey guys, in this video, we are going to work with level B worksheet, so make sure you have that in front of you, and we're going to be talking about decomposing shapes into triangles and rectangles, and focusing right now just on rectangles. So remember, decomposing means you're breaking it into little parts of the shapes that you know. So looking at this first one, I can see that we have two different rectangles or squares, rectangles actually. So I'm going to cut it off right there, and you will notice I have one here and one bigger one here. Okay, so again, could you cut it going down this way? Totally. The problem is you would have to do a little bit more math and a little bit more calculation. So this one's actually a little bit easier. So what I like to do is I like to then label them part A and part B. So then that way I make my work really neat. Okay, so I'm going to start with part A, and it's a rectangle. So we're going to do area equals the length times the width. Remember, that's the curvy L because we don't want to do it looks like a 1. And then we're going to substitute in area equals 29 times 35. That's our length and our width. And then just grab your calculator and multiply it. And hopefully you will get 1,115. So that's for part A. So we're going to do part B, which again is another rectangle. So length times width. So area equals 8 times 7. And then the area will equal 56. So again, we're decomposing it into the two different shapes. We still want to know what the total area is. So we're going to add the 1,015 plus 56. And we get 1,071. And our units are inches, and it's inches squared. Remember, perimeter, area, volume, 1, 2, 3. So area is going to be 2, so it's going to be inches squared. For this one, we're going to do a similar situation. We're going to decompose it into different shapes. So again, you could cut it horizontally or vertically. In my opinion, cutting it horizontally is going to be a lot easier because the dimensions are already there. So let's try that. And we're going to label it A and B. For A, it's going to be area equals length times width. It's a rectangle. Area equals 2 times 2. So for A, we just get 4. And then for B, it's a rectangle, so length times width. So area equals 2 times 4. Area equals 8. So 8 plus 4 gives us a total of 12 units as meters. It's area, so meters squared. That one was pretty easy. Again, if you decompose it the other way, you would have to do a little bit more calculation. You could totally figure it out. But again, look at the ways that the numbers are and kind of see which ones are labeled and use that to help you. So this one, we're going to decompose it. Again, I'm going to cross it this way. Again, could you make it into 3 different ones and go down this way? You could. It seems a little bit more complicated to me, but this one's going to be way easier. So we've got A and we've got B. So for A, it's a rectangle. So we're going to do area equals length times width. Area equals 60 times 60. Area equals 3,600. Then for B, we have area equals length times width. Area equals 60 times 100. Area equals 6,000. Again, for these parts, just put it in your calculator. As long as you show me this work and what you're multiplying, you're great. Again, notice there's A and notice there's B, and that's keeping it really organized. So we're going to add the 6,000 plus 3,600 and get our total of 9,600 inches squared. Remember, it's area, so it's got to be squared. So this one's a good one because it's got multiple shapes. So I'm actually going to decompose it into 3 different shapes. Again, there probably is way more ways you could cut it up, but I would go cutting it up this way. So then you would have A, B, and C. And the reason we're being a little bit crazy about the way you show your work is just because if I can see that you made one little mistake in part B and I can find that, then you can get a lot of partial credit because then you got A and C right. It was just a little calculation error. So my suggestion is make sure your work looks nice and pretty. So we've got A, we've got area equals length and width. Area equals, so we've got 9 by 3, which will be 27. And then B is going to be a rectangle, so length times width. It's going to be 2 times 3. Area equals 6 for B. And then then C is actually going to be a square, so we can still do length times width. 3 times 3. Then area is going to equal 9 for that. So we're going to add them all up and do 27 plus 6 plus 9. Gives us a total of 42 meters squared. So this is, make sure all of your level B is finished to make sure you get it signed off on your sheet. The key is attached if you need to go back and see any of the work. And then go ahead and move on to level C.